The invasion of the UK continues at pace, though. And we have now seen over the past 24 hours the completely egregious nature of how scumbag criminals, the lowest of the low, people who are literally setting out to come here and murder and torture and take out civilians and politicians, will get in with no trouble because the entire system has broken down. I'm referring, of course, to Mada Pasa. There he is. Remember him? He's got the Kalashnikov on his tattooed on his cheek. Apparently responsible for loads of crimes in Sweden, and he has been taunting Nigel Farage for some time, including making a threat against his life. Well, he did arrive. He arrived in the UK. So despite the fact that this guy, here he is on one of the boats, by the way, and despite the fact that this guy had signposted the fact that he wanted to come, had made a big deal about the fact that he was coming to try and kill Farage, he still got in, which is just totally extraordinary. Now, Nigel Farage wrote on this Mada Pasa, the migrant who has threatened to kill me, has now crossed the English Channel, according to this video. Is this the kind of man we really want in Britain? Later, he said, I am pleased that this individual has now been detained, but appalled that a migrant who threatened to kill me was escorted into British waters by the French Navy. And again, and I am going to keep pointing this out, Chris Davies, nothing from the mainstream media. Sly News didn't even feel this was a story worthy of covering. Now, can we just imagine, Chris, for a second, that a far-right terrorist decided to illegally enter the country, having threatened to kill Keir Starmer, that it would not be leading every single news bulletin in the country. But for some reason, when the threat is from an Islamic terrorist and the person being threatened is Nigel Farage, a bit like Donald Trump in America, it's almost accepted. This is astonishing.
Where do we go with our two tiers, Dan? I think our two-tier lexicon is rapidly running out of space. It's absurd, of course. And I wonder whether or not this may get Nigel off the fence on the subject of deportations, because this notion that our southern border is completely porous and that anybody can get in, and they are coming with increasing ferocity. The numbers, as you know, are already ahead of last year's. It needs attention, it needs urgent attention, but it's not going to happen. Labour have got no interest. As Jasmine said earlier on, the overall GDP grows because more heads are coming through the door. I think it's now 7 billion a week, is it, the hotel? No, 7 billion annually, rather, the hotel bill for all of these migrants. There is no interest in stopping this from happening. Contrast the awful thing that happened to Joe Cox with the threats against Farage. What did Farage have to do? He had to beef up his security. But nobody is interested in Nigel Farage, and Reform need to remember that if they want to become part of the establishment will never accept them. The broadcast mainstream media will never accept them. They would be better off being radical, insisting on deport and detain and getting these people out of our country.
Well, this is why, Jasmine, I just hope and pray that the Conservative Party membership have done the right thing and elected Robert Jenrick tomorrow, because I know the Tories are a mess, right? I completely understand that. But it's about moving the Overton window. And I quizzed Jenrick directly here earlier this week, and he vowed to the Outspoken family, he made a solemn promise that he was absolutely serious about deporting every single one of the million people that are here illegally. Now, that's the sort of conviction that we need, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that with the Conservatives, what they need to do is start being Conservatives. Crazy idea, but they were for a few years trying to be partly Conservatives, partly Socialists. And certainly they were being very nitpicky, sort of pussyfooting around the idea of dealing with migrants, particularly obviously the illegal migrants. And I'm told that the cabinet knew that the Rwanda idea would not work. So you would have thought that they would have done something early on. But I think the mood of the country now, from people who are Conservative voters, Reform voters, Labour voters, is increasingly that they are very worried about, as you say, all sorts of illegal migrants who may have all kinds of backgrounds. Many of them will be great, but many of them will also be the sort of people that nobody would want in their countries. And I think also it would be really helpful for the legacy media, firstly, to be honest about the situation with illegal migrants coming into the country, because they're really not. Same with the civil service, which, as you know, has now stopped giving the actual breakdown of nationalities when it comes to reporting crimes, etc. So we don't know where which nationalities are doing which crimes. So they need to be honest. But also, we need to be clear about the international push to just bring migrants into all kinds of countries. The UN has a specific agenda to bring people from poorer countries into the richer countries. And, they're talking about making it all equal. Well, basically, that means making the richer countries poor. That's essentially what it's about. And that is what people are feeling. And that's why the anger will continue to grow if the Labour Party does nothing. And I suspect that they won't. I mean, they've said that they will, but I doubt if they will.
Well, they've got no way to do it. That's the problem. And that is why this letter from Nigel Farage and backed by Matt Goodwin, I think is really important, because when you look at the specific detail they want to be released. But first, best time of year, isn't it? Football is back, Premier League in the UK, NFL Sundays in the US, college football Saturdays. With that comes the glorious grind of fantasy football lineups where your inner manager comes alive. But listen, while you're over here making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. My advice to you is that nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine. So, if you're a bloke, you need this, I promise you. And if you're a wife or a girlfriend or a mum, this is the perfect present for the man in your life. Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. I love it. It's an all-in-one grooming playbook, from keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to taking care of those rogue-era nose hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0. These products will help you feel clean, confident, and ready to dominate your fantasy league. So, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and Body Hair Trimmer is your franchise player of your grooming roster with precise trimming capabilities. It's reliable, efficient, and gets the job done without fumbling. Whether it's for date night, a weekend tailgate, or just everyday grooming, this is the tool you want on your squad. Now, no one wants a surprise nose or hair making a guest appearance on game day or date night. So the Weed Whacker 2.0 handles those details like a pro, keeping you neat and ready to go. No missed tackles in your grooming game. The Performance Package 5.0 doesn't stop at grooming essentials, though. It comes with 2 free gifts, which is really exciting. There they are. The Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag. Premium gear to ensure you're always ready for action, whether at home or on the road. So join the 10 million men worldwide. I'm one of them who trust Manscaped, and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. All you need to do is, when you check out, just enter the coupon code Outspoken at checkout. You will get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season. So 20% off and free shipping. You just need to use the coupon code Outspoken at www.manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming game. Be ready for anything the season throws your way. Chris Davies, it is things like data on arrest rates and prisoner status by nationality and immigration status, data on the sentencing of foreign nationals, including how many are repeat offenders, data on spending programs such as the Refugee Integration Loan Scheme, data on welfare claims by nationality and immigration status. I mean, it's astonishing that that isn't made available to us now.
Information is power, Dan. That's the reality of it. And when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the laissez-faire approach that Labour have, it is only going in one direction, a bit like the boats. They never go back. They only keep on arriving. And until such time as we deploy the Navy in the English Channel, we turn the boats around, those that do arrive are automatically deported and will never be given leave to remain in the United Kingdom. This will continue. Jasmine's absolutely right. This is a problem across the developed world. And why is that? The United Nations has been captured by a communist, Antonio Gutierrez. He's absolutely signed up to the World Economic Forum agenda, around Agenda 2030, around food, around the farmers, all of this stuff. It's all happening deliberately. This is all planned. There is nothing new here. It's such a shame that Sunak finally found his inner politician, finally, on budget day, when it was all too late.
Too little too late. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Too little too late. But the thing is...
we can only hope, Dan, that we get a leader of the opposition. And I suspect, unfortunately for you, you're going to be disappointed in your pursuit of Robert Jenrick. I also would prefer Jenrick of the two. But whoever it is, let's just hope that we get a leader of the opposition that galvanizes and really begins to push back, because it can't all be done. The heavy lifting can't be done by the 5 MPs of Reform.
Well, Badenoch's all talk, though. That's my issue. She's all talk, no action.
100%.
And she proved that when she was in power. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.